Hey guys, we're going to continue our Stacking the Deck series by learning how to bottom deal. Now, as some of you may know, I used to be a poker dealer in a charity poker room, and I won't say that I ever did stack the deck and manipulate the cards using these techniques and these methods that I'm teaching you now, but I will say that if I had, then I'm certain I would have never gotten caught. So we're going to learn how to bottom deal. I want you guys to know beforehand that if you're actually in a real legitimate casino or even a charity poker room or anywhere that has some kind of legitimacy, basically anywhere that's not a home game, underground poker game, they use what's called a cut card. And this cut card goes on the bottom of the deck for a couple reasons. Primarily so no one around the table can see what the bottom card is. Because if you have pocket kings and you see a king is on the bottom, then you have that much less of a chance to want to bet and want to stay in the hand. So this cut card stays on the bottom, but that's also going to prevent you from bottom dealing, because it's going to be the cut card and it won't work. So I want you guys to know that already ahead of time before going into this tutorial. I might get rid of the cut card. I'll put 2 aces on the bottom of the deck. So what bottom dealing is, we have the 2 aces on the bottom, and you can just go around the table in any position you want. You think I might have it, but it's actually this guy over here that has the 2 aces. First of all, I recommend getting the DVD, The Foundations. This may teach more in depth because pretty much where I learned this from was a movie called Shade, where the opening segment was just about like manipulation of the cards. So get the foundation. I'll leave a link in the description for a more in-depth tutorial. I'm not a professional card stacker. This is just what I've learned I want to share with you guys. Bottom dealing is just dealing off the bottom card. That's all you're doing. And what's going on is this underneath the table. You're starting to push off the top card, and your finger comes over as if to grab it to put it down. But what's really going on is it slips underneath, and you have a basic mechanics grip here, and your middle finger can go right in between here and be placed on the bottom card. And because your pinky and your ring finger can hold onto the deck without really doing much, it allows you to keep your balance here but still open up these fingers while still gripping onto it. This should be pretty comfortable, pretty easy, if only for a split second. Now, bottom dealing is very difficult to learn. You guys are gonna have to do it very slow, just like the pass. You don't start off doing the pass that fast. You have to go slow and really break it down and finally start to build your way up. Same thing goes with bottom dealing. When you're practicing this, just do it slow, just start to understand how the mechanics of it work. The slippery the cards are, arguably the better, but at the same time, if you're doing it early in your training to learn how to stack the deck, the whole deck might slip out of your hand and then you might get caught with 3 cards in your hand at once. So just be warned about that. It's a lot of trial and error, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. So you're going to push the card off. Your fingers are right on top of it, barely touching it, middle and ring. And you're going to go as if to grab it, put your thumb on top, and this thumb that's on top of the deck is actually going to pull it back as these fingers open up just enough. So all you have to do is grab it with your middle finger, and because your thumb's on top, you can pinch it out just like that. You almost want to catch it with your pincher fingers. You don't want just the middle finger to pull it out. You want to be able to steal it out, just like that. So, pushing off, get used to this kind of motion of, it's kind of like the invisible palm. You're going to push it off. Middle finger is going to come through. Because these fingers are pinched on, it's going to latch on to the majority of the cards. Steal it through as this thumb starts to pull it back. And now it's going to start to come together, get closer to your thumb, so you can just snap it out like that. Now the biggest concern you guys are going to have with bottom dealing is the sound that it makes. So I'll take the 8 of diamonds, I'll leave it face up on the bottom so you can kind of hear the distinction and see where the bottom deal is. So pulling these cards out. So in the beginning, when you guys are practicing, you might get this loud snapping sound, and that's just going to go like, that doesn't make a noise with off the top card. And it's because the card is striking off the whole deck and you're riffling it through. Again, this is just trial and error of mastering it. I don't want you guys practicing it and then kind of getting the fundamentals down and then leaving a comment saying, oh, but it makes this crazy loud noise and what do I do to help that? So it just takes more practice. It just takes more of understanding your hands, the placement, the timing, the manipulation of just everything. And not only that, but while you're dealing, you can be talking, and so like if you're talking going around the table, no one's going to be able to hear the difference of where the bottom 2 cards were or where they were stacked. So if you're talking, you're engaging in conversation, having a good time with your friends, and no one's going to be able to hear the difference between which cards were different. In fact, you can calibrate that by making a snapping sound off the top deck naturally when you guys are learning how to do this or when you're dealing the cards in general. So get used to like almost snapping off the top card and just like snapping it down on the table. I know like going around the table is hard and it's going to be a bigger placement than this, but that's why you have to practice. So you can hear the snapping there, but you can cover up for it just by talking and if there's music playing and stuff like that. So don't be worried about it. It's not going to be too often where you're playing poker and it's just dead silence. And if it is, then that's scary. You shouldn't be playing that poker anyway. You want poker to be fun because that's the kind of games where you're going to get shot even if you are caught playing stacking the deck. There's not really much more I can say about stacking the deck other than a good way to practice is just to leave. This is what I was doing for the longest time. I would turn the top card face up and I would just try to go through literally the entire deck of cards. No rush, no timing. I was just trying to make it smooth to some capacity. And you are going to get hung up at some point just like that. You are going to get hung up. Cards get sticky. They get hard to strip from your fingers. And they're kind of like slicing at your fingers, at the pinkies, at the base and top, in order for you to slip that card out. But you'll grow calluses there, you'll get stronger, and you're not going to be bottom dealing an entire deck of cards. It'll just be 2 cards at most. 5 cards at most if you want to stack a royal flush to someone. So just practice that. That's like my biggest recommendation for learning bottom deals. Try to go through an entire deck bottom dealing. And time yourself too, and then you can do it again and try to beat your previous time. And that way you'll just get better, you'll get faster, you'll understand more. It's the same with anything. It's just constant practice, seeing what works and seeing what doesn't work. And the nice thing about bottom dealing is because the cards are already positioned on the bottom, you don't need to place them anywhere. You can just grab them whenever you need them. So you can shuffle legitimately and still go around the table. Make sure to keep the noise volume up so no one is too suspicious of anything that may or may not be going on. And finally, 5-card poker. You can reveal 4 of a kind or something crazy like that. It's up to you guys. So, hope this helps. Practice. Take it slow. Build your way up. It's all trial and error. That's all Magic is. Make sure, film yourself doing it. Film yourself doing it. Time yourself doing it. Refilm yourself doing it. And that's where you're going to learn the most. Watch your angles, just everything in the process. So, hope this helped you guys. And again, I wouldn't recommend actually stacking a deck of cards. That's it for this tutorial, guys. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if you got value out of it, as well as leaving a comment and subscribing to How to Disturb Reality to learn powerful magic integrated with social dynamics. The Stacking the Deck series is going to continue with the placement of the cards, specific cards that you want and where to place them to get them to where they need to be, using partner, false cuts, reversing the order of the deck, as well as several other methods and to help you guys stack the deck, which will ultimately help you control the cards. And if you're at a home game, you can watch out for these things so you guys don't get scammed out of it. I'm not trying to recommend that you guys actually go out and practice this kind of stuff and do it to win money or anything like that. But I want you guys to be aware of it and know what to look for when you're playing at these home games. Be inspired to learn, aspire to disturb, and always rise above.